Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Yakov from GM Chicago. Brains coming at you another lesson through the Spirit Power Bashim Al Shah. Before I start off, I'd start by giving all praise and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. That belongs to the positive, great millstone will. And say, takes all you brethren doing this work in truth, sincerity, with charity. All right. And basically, I'm going to just touch on the lesson. All right. Going into conduct. All right. You brothers out there. All right. Especially you younger brothers. All right, but brothers out there in general, all right, that's serving and worshiping the name Yahweh Al Shai. All right, that's lifting up the standard. All right, we have to make sure that our conduct is on point now. All right, wherever we go, man, we have to be representers, Salakia, representers, all right, of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, man. All right, we have to be representing this word, man. All right, the scripture tell us, all right, to put on as the elect, man. All right, and our everyday doings. All right, and also when we out here in the world, man. All right, the scripture says that you obeyed in my presence, how much more in my absence. So when we out here in this world, man. All right, we're representing. All right, this word we're representing. All right, Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. As the scripture calls us ambassadors, man. All right, and an ambassador is one that speaks on the behalf of. Right, so we out on in our day-to-day lives. All right, we're still ambassadors of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, man. All right, we can't be out here moving carnally, all right, moving unwise, all right, doing things, all right, that's gonna bring blame to the ministry, all right. We have to move with wisdom, man. All right, you don't just whenever you cut off the camera or when you take off that garment from Saturday camp, you don't just become a regular civilian, man. All right, we're still, all right, represented ambassadors, should you say, or we represent Yahweh Shai 24/7, man. Right? I'm gonna just bring out a few precepts, Lord, with it. This be edifying, and I'm gonna end off this 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and 22. It says, "Abstain from all appearance of evil." Right? All right. So we have to abstain from all appearance of evil, man. All right. We can't be out here moving, talking, and looking, all right, like your average Smo Joe, man. Your average YN, man. All right, hey, when these people see us out here in this world, man, they supposed to see something different, man. All right, the scripture says wisdom causes a man's face to shine, roughly paraphrasing, right? So when you get this wisdom, all right, the scripture says we become new creatures in Yahweh Shai, man. We are not the same, man. All right, so the people that you once knew in the world, your family members, they should see, all right, a change in you, all right, when you get this word, man. All right, you shouldn't be the same little Joe from, when you was, in the streets, all right, when you was a baby, right? You should be moving different, man. All right. You ain't supposed to be no little demon running around, man. All right. Claiming to still be a part of a gang, man. I'm still, such and such, repping this gang, repping that gang, whatever the case may be, man. All right. You're supposed to become a new creature in Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, right? This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and 11. It says, "Teach these things." It's like these things command and teach. It says, "Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers, and word and charity and in conversations, like in charity and spirit, and in faith and in purity." Right? Till I come give attendance to reading, to exhortation, and to doctrine. Right? So it says, "Let no man despise thy youth," man. No matter if you're a young man physically, all right, or you're a young man spiritually. All right, you never supposed to let nobody despise, thy youth, man. I would be an example to the believers, man, because you have to lead the brothers under you. All right, and also just be an example in general, man. All right, even to brothers that's over you, man. All right, put on as the elect, man. All right, show brothers the ropes, man. That's what the scripture goes into when it talks about preferring one another, man. Because if a brother see you doing something, especially a younger brother, all right, a brother that's younger than you, all right, and you doing it, and you getting away with it, all right, which we never get away with anything through the spirit. I mean, Yahweh Bashim Al Shai sees everything, but you're doing it, and you're letting it fly under the rug. All right, that brother, are you treating brothers bad in front of younger brothers, or you doing a little greasy stuff on the side, man? All right, and saying it's cool. All right, other brothers are gonna follow suit, man. Right? Or you acting carnally in the world. All right, and you got brothers with you, and they, especially like I said, younger brothers, they gonna see that and they gonna pick up on those habits, man. All right, so as the scripture says, roughly paraphrase scripture, the righteous man ordereth his friendship aright, man, which means, you're gonna basically show the next brother how to deal, all right, properly, man, right, with one another, with yourself, with you, all right, with other brothers, all right. You're gonna order that friendship aright, man, all right. All right, but the scripture also says befriend one another, which means to lead the way, man. All right, so be an example to the believers, man. All right, and also scripture says this. This is Colossians chapter 4 and verse 5. It says, walk in wisdom towards them that are without, redeeming the time. All right, so even when you're around unbelievers, man, all right, they still supposed to see the wisdom oozing off you, man. They still supposed to see the difference, right? You're not supposed to be, all right, blend. You're not supposed to be just be that, that same guy, all right, that you used to be. Or if these people don't know you, all right, you're not supposed to come off as a carnal man, right? We're supposed to have patience. It says showing patience, all right, charity, right, so forth and so on, man. We're supposed to have these different attributes, man. Having that poise about you, man, right? It's just certain things that a man of the Lord wouldn't do, man. All right, especially a man that's being circumspect, all right, and that's walking in wisdom, man. The scripture tells us a walk in the spirit, that we feel not the lust of the flesh, man. Right. Verse 6 says, let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how to answer every man. Right. So don't be so hasty to just say anything, man. Right. When you say something, man, say it with let it mean something, man. Right. Not just talking, man. That's another thing, man. Not always talking, being buddy with everybody, man. Right. Because people look at you like a fool if you do that, man. If you can't stop running your mouth, man. Right. This is 1 Samuel chapter 1 and 18. It says, and David behaved himself wisely in all his ways, and the Lord was with him. All right. And we know David, he was a man after the Lord's heart, man. And he behaved himself wisely in all his ways, man. All right. So whenever somebody saw him, whether they believed in the Most High or not, all right, they knew that David was different, man, just off the way he behaved himself, man. And that's the same way we have to be, man. All right, this is 1 Peter 1 and 15. It says, but as he which have called you as holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversations. With the word conversation goes to conduct, right? It says, because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy, right? So that means be separate, man. We are separate from this world, man. The Lord has called us out this world. We're not supposed to be trying to fit in, all right? Or when we go out here in this world, trying, put on or be conformed to this world, man. All right. We have to be walking in wisdom. All right, seeing that we have this understanding, man. Right. And let me see. Yeah, man. And I didn't want to make it too long. Just the exhortation. To be mindful of your conduct out here in the world, man. All right, when you're around the undiscreet, when you're around the unwise, all right, and even when you're around brothers, hey, be that example to lead the way, man. Right. And put off that old man, right, which we all, got flaws to us that we have to correct daily, all right, but, be mindful of the way you're acting, man, all right. This is Titus chapter 2 and verse 6. It says, young man likewise exhort to be sober-minded. And it says, in all things showing thyself a pattern of good works, and doctrine showing uncorruptness, gravity, and sincerity. All right, it says, sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you, right? So, those that are of the contrary, man, all right, Jakes out here in this world who scoff and scorn the truth, all right, scoff and scorn the words of Yahweh Shem Shah. They could scoff all day, but they don't have anything bad to say about you personally, man, right? Now, you're going to have haters here and there, all right, but for the most part, these people shouldn't have nothing bad to say about you, man. All right, you should be, hardworking, respectful, right? Because this is not our kingdom. We got to take these ills, as they come, right? But at the end of the day, they shouldn't have anything bad to say about a man of the Lord personally, man, right? Shouldn't be able to call you a thief or, whatever the case may be, man, But these people gonna scoff this word all day. But personally, you should be on your P's and Q's in this world, man, right? Having no gal. These people shouldn't have no gal to say about you, man. So You know, we just got to be mindful of our conduct. So with that, without giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kakadash. The line said, Apostle Gary Mills, doing will, and say things about your brother doing the work with true sincerity, with charity. Next time, Shalom, the Bible Ball.